Well, I suppose we should start since it's 5 after, and I think we do have some folks that are maybe watching online. So welcome to Real Estate Productivity Hacks and Tips and Tricks and other things that you might think of instead of the word hack if you know what that was. Over here is my email, nickmocha@kw.com. If you guys have any questions, thoughts, concerns, ideas, or jokes, you can always email jokes.
Can they be inappropriate?
Work appropriate things. So, I'll start off. Most of you guys know who I am, Nick Mocha. I have ADD, ADHD, I think is what it is. So I have to move at all times. So yeah. So, first thing I want to just jump into. Let me see how I can do this. This is Prezi. If you guys have never heard of it, it's an alternative to PowerPoint. So if you're ever doing a presentation for a client, this is one product that I've used in the past.
Is it better than
Jump right in.
PowerPoint?
I think so.
Check your email really quick. Oh my god. Huffington Post has the top 10. One more text. Update. I gotta watch these movies and then I return help. Hey. Gotta check my texts, email,
Right?
help, more text. I gotta watch all these movies before I have to return them. Top 10 family photos. Okay, just one more text. My DVR. Check my Facebook update. Tumblr.
You know what's happening, right? You're spiraling, you're out of control. No, there's too many things going on, but
Check my text.
you're out, right?
Please help me. Please help me out. Will you help me? Please help me. Text. And I think that you're okay. Please help. Checking my email. Checking my
Fred?
Checking my text. What is this?
Fred, that's you in high school. That's you before computers.
So maybe you found yourself in a situation where you get yourself too into things and you move from one thing to the next. And then all of a sudden your phone dings, and then your phone rings, and then your phone dings, and your phone rings. And then you need hot water. And then you see somebody in the hallway and you have to talk to them. So long story short, it's really easy to get distracted and it's really easy to jump into a technological loop. So I've decided that that's just who I am, and that's just what I do, and that's how it is. So I found a couple of things that have really helped me get my butt in gear, for lack of better words. So the first thing that I want to jump into is one that we're all very familiar with. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, that's the second one. First one is the morning routine. This is one that I don't use exactly, but it's just a good idea. Waking up early, meditating, exercising, reading something, eating the right foods, so on and so forth. So my morning activity is I get up, my alarm wakes me up at about 4:15, 4:30 a.m. If my kid wakes me up, it's about 2:30 or 3 a.m. But then I'm up. I'm in the gym by 5 a.m. I'm done with my gym workout by 6 a.m. And then
I know. Remember,
and then
he's
about
younger than us, Pam.
at about 6:15 a.m.
That's right.
I'm ready to pretty much leave for work at about 6:30. Then I get the kids all ready and so on and so forth, and I hop into the office around 8 a.m.
Is this the routine you'd like to get on?
No, this is the routine I'm on. This is the routine I'm
Going to
on.
the gym at 5 every day?
Every day. I am. Unless my wife works the night before. So one of the big things for me is if you set your routine and you're incredibly consistent in those things, it doesn't allow you to get distracted as easily. So next thing here, which we're all super familiar with. Gary Keller talks about it. Some other folks talk about it here, don't you know? It's called time blocking. So time blocking is the method of making your calendar before it happens, is the way I look at it. One of the things that I do that's a little bit different is I put everything in. So this is in 2 weeks. This is my schedule. So every morning it's 4:30 to 6:20 is my workout. It's the leave, get ready, so on and so forth. In the morning, I've got my Facebook birthdays. I do at 8:30 a.m. After that, I've got lead generation. This is my biggest, I believe it's called the Achilles tendon. That's the thing where I suck. But after that, I've got a lunch meeting every day that's set on my calendar. So when I'm making my appointments, I don't have to say, hey Alex, what day do you want to go out to eat? And you're like, oh, well, I could do Tuesday at like 1 o'clock, or you could do this day, or we're not playing battleship between each other trying to figure out what time we're going to go and eat. It is literally going to be at 11:45. So then I can tell my client, I've got 11:45 on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday available. So then there's no back and forth. Now if the client says, hey, I can't meet at that time, I can meet at 1 o'clock, I gotta do something, whatever it might be, that's totally fine. The next thing that I have on every one of my calendars is a happy hour dinner meeting. Essentially that just blocks out that time. It's available for a client. If they can't make their lunch, then they can make the afternoon. So it creates a running schedule. I mean, this is what I try to run on every week.
Do you actually eat during those, or they just
I do.
You do eat at most people want to have a eating meeting.
Yeah, an eating meeting. Yeah. Yep.
I like
I've
that.
found that
Eating
eating meetings.
Let's have an eating.
One of the things that I firmly believe in, and through the pandemic it was a little bit different, but I found like-minded folks, is shaking hands and breaking bread is the best way to form a relationship. I think that it's when you have the conversations about who people are, you know, who are their parents, where were they born, so on and so forth, like getting to know them. So a little off track, but nonetheless, the thing that's the most important here is that every week, this is my calendar. Everything that's in gray is pretty much every week. The stuff that's in yellow is a little bit different. My haircut can vary, and then I've got a standing meeting. So, and then I do, the other thing I do is I do double dates. I mean, again, it's just time blocking. So every week I do a double date.
What's a double date?
We're going on a double date.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So you're
Our wife,
saying you
yeah.
and your wife?
My wife and I
another
do a double date every week.
couple. Oh, okay.
Yep.
And that is smart, because you're spending time with your wife and you're spending time
Yeah.
with your friends.
A while back, a while back I went to a seminar. It was called Life and Air or something or another. It was at Minnesota. What is it? Real estate. Some investor. Something or another.
Yeah, the Minnesota Real Estate Investor Association.
Yeah. So some guy wrote a presentation about time blocking and having your best life or something like that. One of the things that I thought was really interesting is he actually started out with a blank calendar, and he wrote in all the times that he wants to hang out with his family. Then he wrote all the times that he wanted to have a nap, whenever he wanted to take a break. And then from that, since he put everything that he wanted into his calendar, he then filled his work in between. And so it was taking what we think of, which is you go to work from 9 to 5 and then you do whatever you want in your life. Second, we flipped it around and said, let's put the things, and we have the schedule and availability to do that for the most part. Let's put the things that we want to do into our schedule first, and then put work around it, and stick to that. So again, it's a different style of time blocking. So the next productivity tip that I've got would be a virtual assistant. This happened about half a year ago. I decided to hire a virtual assistant. I would much have rather hired an assistant in-house, but the way that the market was and so on and so forth, it was a little tough to find one. So I did find a virtual assistant. She works on the other side of the world. She's been absolutely fantastic. One of the things that I've found that it allows me to do is allows me to just not have to think about things. I can put it into her hands, and even if it takes her a day, for me, the biggest thing, the biggest, boldest thing in all of this is time. Because really and truly, if I can do the same amount of business as I did last year in half the amount of time, I don't care. That's fine. I mean, I know we're supposed to be striving for more, but we're really just striving to get more time in life. And so if I can get my schedule and find these types of hacks and tips to make more time for me, to do things with my kids, to do things with family.
So have you integrated Nikki, our transaction coordinator?
That's a great question. I have not yet, and that's just a personal choice because my assistant has been doing all of my transaction
Right, that's kind of what I was
coordination.
curious.
Now, if we got to a point where we were much busier, I would maybe do that if it makes sense, responsibility-wise. She does, one of the things that I do, I value not putting anybody to voicemail. I hate doing that. And so all of my phone calls get forwarded to my assistant. And so if I can't pick up, then she'll pick up.
Oh, so it'll go to you, like ring to you
Yep.
first, then?
And then it'll ring to her.
Yeah, one time I called him, some half gal picked up, I'm like,
Yeah.
this don't sound like this. Who are you? Like,
Yep.
So how do you do that? How is?
Yeah, it's actually on the next slide. I'll show you here. I have a phone service that does that.
Oh.
She does so she answers phone calls, she does the paperwork, she does the transaction coordination, and then she also organizes all of my dates. So all of those lunches, when you go back to that calendar, because it's all the same, I have a format that I put in the first name of my meeting, myself and the first name of who I'm meeting with, and then underneath it I also CC my assistant on all of my meetings, and then she makes all the reservations for me, and then gets that done, so that I don't have to think about that, and then those are all handled. So going back to how does that work, I use a product that Alex told me about, which is productive.io or productive.app. And what this service does on top of forwarding phone calls to somebody, it actually records every phone call that comes into my phone.
You can also set it so like certain
Yep.
people
Don't get recorded.
You know, so it's.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
for example.
Oh no, I got that recorded.
Oh.
It's called productive.com.
Productive.io or
Productive.app.
app. Yeah, maybe it's productive.app. But long story short, what they do is they record all of them, and then I have it drop it after I'm done with my phone call. I drop it into a Google Drive, that phone call, the recording of it, and as well as the transcript. So then my assistant goes through all of the transcripts and recordings in the afternoon and takes out all of the notes. So I now structure my phone calls with my clients at the end of the phone call or at the end of whoever it is. I make note and I say, okay, that sounds super great, Carrie. I'm going to get you these 3 things by Thursday, and we'll set up a meeting on Friday for this, and we'll do this, and we'll schedule photos on this day. Does that sound good to you? And then all of those things, those bulleted points, are in the voicemail or in the recording. So then Patricia, my assistant, knows to do those.
Yeah,
things.
so then you don't have to call or email
Yep.
her and repeat.
Exactly.
Oh my
Exactly.
gosh. Love it.
So then I can just forward all of that over to her.
Yeah, so it's a really cool app.
Yeah. They are coming out with a KW integration like 3 weeks ago that they didn't. So, so it should be coming out soon. If you guys sign up, either come talk to Alex or I.
And then are you gonna share with us how you found your VA, like?
Yeah,
is she with
yeah.
a company or?
So, yeah, so my VA virtual assistant, there's a lot of different companies out there.
Yeah.
I wasn't as concerned about how much I was paying as much as what kind of value I was getting. One of the benefits that I found in the Cyberbacker virtual assistant, which was started by a Keller Williams agent, is that they're trained to Keller Williams command and paperwork and so on and so forth.
Where was this at, you said, or what?
It's called Cyberbacker.
Cyberback?
Yep.
You
So,
just find those guys online, or?
you know, I think they were at family reunion last year.
And this is the Philippine-based company.
Yeah, it's a Philippine-based company. You interview about 20 assistants at once, and then you introduce yourself to them, and then they figure out whether they want to work for you. Then after that, it's down to like 6 of them or 8 of them, and then you interview those 6. You go through a couple days of training, and then they also have trainers over there. Now, I don't have my assistant over there do any phone calls. Like, she doesn't do any outbound phone calls. 2 reasons. One, because I hate when I get phone calls from people that aren't the actual agent or associate or whoever it is. And then number 2, there is a little bit of a cultural change. Just ways that we talk to people here that they don't always pick up on voice inflections. A perfect example, in another life I worked a short stint in New York City doing phone calls out there, and just the inflections and the way that you speak out there is much different than you speak here. Here we talk about having church, you know, and having casserole. Out there, you want to tell them what bridge to jump off of if they don't take your call. So you got to be ready. So it's a very different culture. So
Say casserole again.
casserole there, don't you know?
Don't you? Really, you have a gift of that.
Oh, thanks. So, jumping back out of the wagon here, the next hack that I found, or productivity tip here, is my CMAs. One of the things that I remember doing is my first or second CMA as an agent down in Rochester, Minnesota. And I'm pretty sure I clocked in at around an hour and 35 minutes for a CMA. Yeah. And then my second one was maybe like 2 hours and 10 minutes with multiple phone calls to a couple other agents as to how I do a CMA in MLS. Now, if you've got it down, do it. Jump. Run. I found that CMAs are much more about giving information and guidance, not so much telling them exactly what that price is. So I've decided to leverage three different companies. One is RPR, which we all have access to. I would highly recommend just going with exactly what RPR sticks out and pushes out. Number two is Zillow, which I know a lot of people are going to say, why would we use Zillow? Well, that is an awesome way to connect with our clients, because that's exactly what they've been looking at for the last 2 months. So I can say, this is the Zillow amount, Alex. I know you've probably seen this number. It actually went up in the last 3 days. Have you been tracking it? And they say, oh yeah, I have been. And so then you have a point to jump off of. And that's when I can say, you know, I've been finding these other numbers that are close to what you've been looking at. And then you're able to connect with them a little bit better. The last one that I use is Cloud CMA. Cloud CMA, I can do a CMA in about 3 minutes. And pull all of the...
I can do it in 250.
Nice.
Nice.
So Cloud CMA pulls together the whole report, and then it also you can add on different pages that could run you through a seller's guide or a seller's presentation. It's all right there. It pushes in your logo, your name, your contact info, and it makes a really nice presentation. So I found that using Cloud CMA as well as RPR are hacks that have allowed me to cut down on the amount of time that I'm spending. It also allows me to send out a CMA to a previous client and not feel like I'm wasting time, or also to a prospective client maybe in the neighborhood that says, well, I don't know, I mean, if you know what the value is, send it on over to me or something. Because Cloud CMA also does not pick up value. So you can send in the information, but there's no value, so then they have to call you.
Now, is that a paid service?
It is a paid service, yep. Okay. Cloud CMA is a paid service.
What does that run?
I want to say it was like $200 a year, something
Oh.
like that. But I figured if my daily, I think I calculated my hours working on transactions in a year. Last year, I think I was at $234 per hour of actual work hours. So I thought, well, that's 1 hour of time. It's been taking me an hour and a half, so sold. So the next one here is lead generation. So that's the biggest job that we have, is lead generation, right? And most of us don't enjoy it. One of the things that I found is that it was really easy to throw my money away in lead generation. It's going to take a couple of tries to find the right lead generation company. I tried one a while back, and they were in their infancy stage, and they just weren't that great. They didn't have the right data. And I think I spent and lost about $8,000 doing that, which was a lot of fun. Then there's also KW Command. I have found that it's a really good way to send out information, get leads through Facebook, and so on and so forth. So I would recommend KW Command. The other company that we work with at KW is Listings to Leads. They have some really good downloadable PDFs that you can integrate into a Facebook ad and set your budget and so on and so forth. And they do a really great job in getting some leads as well. And they're a free one for us other than the ad spend. So that's nice. It definitely beats me trying to go onto Facebook and type up my own ad and trying to figure out what the parameters are and how to spend and how much to spend. So the next one then, productivity hack, would be KW postcards. This is one thing I learned about a little while ago that I put together with my admin. So it's going to be under your campaigns, under your is it direct mail, I believe. So this is a way that you are able to put in the address of every past client that you've had or future client that you want. And you can send out one postcard. So you can upload the postcard here. And then you can do targeting of a certain radius or whatnot of that address. You can put in how many postcards you want to go out. First class, hit save, and it'll push out.
Nick helped me with one of those.
Yeah.
And I sent it around the listing I had,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted you to do that.
Yeah. I think, I mean, there's more to it than just this. There's definitely, you need to do follow-up with it. You need to make phone calls out to those houses in your area. There are a couple of different programs that you could use to get those phone numbers. The other idea is you could do this once it sends. Before it gets there, go out door knocking to the houses that you know that it's going to. So then you say, hey, my name's Nick from Keller Williams. I just wanted to see if you guys got my postcard that I sent out in regards to the house that I listed just down the road. And they're going to say, no, I didn't. You go, oh, man. Well, I hope it gets to you. Again, my name is Nick. Let me know if you want to sell your house today or tomorrow. And then you hand them the business card. The next day, the postcard gets there. So then you're on their mind twice. Because the first time, if you send out the postcard first, they're going to throw it away and not know who you are.
Yes.
But if you show up first
Yes.
and tell them that something's coming for them, they're going to look for it and they're going to remember.
And you did that on your own, Nick?
Yeah. Yep. So I did that with my neighborhood too.
Seriously, I hate that. I thought I was way smarter than that.
Shoot! Dang it!
You're thinking old school, you gotta think new school.
So the next thing that you guys are probably familiar with are smart plans and processes. So smart plans are plans that you can implement into groups on the KW Command platform. This is fantastic, and I will be 100% honest, I don't know how to do it because my assistant knows.
So don't you think, Nick, when we're talking to other agents, really, the power that we have in command that we've only barely touched? I mean, and that is the part as an existing agent.
Yeah.
To have this already there and not have to, like
Yeah,
you said, hack
totally.
in time.
I would say if anyone's a car buff, I would say Keller Williams Command is a lot like a Dodge Viper. It's got a lot of horsepower, a lot of power, a lot of torque, but
Right.
the suspension isn't always there, so sometimes it fails. So there's a lot of opportunity within it. So I would recommend, this is one thing that saves me from having to remember who I'm supposed to be calling, where I'm supposed to be going, what postcard I should be sending, who did I forget, so nobody slips through the cracks and I don't spend my time thinking about that. So again, it allows my brain to free up time to go do other things.
So the smart plans are just like automated things
Yep.
that you just.
Like group campaign.
Yeah, so it reminds you, I
So,
might
like,
be able
is there
to.
something you have to go and set up before all this stuff works? Because like
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah, you gotta set up a smart.
So this is,
it's like I don't know how to run any of this. Well,
I'm not smart enough.
It's
You
just
can do
like,
it
That's what I'm
smart.
saying.
You gotta do this.
That's a different class.
Training.
so yeah, smart plans in general, like a really quick overview. You can take any of these, you can just type in neighborhood, you can type in birthdays, you can type in whatever you want. And people have come up with these these are all from Keller Williams, but they are 15 steps over 56 days with 8 touches. And this one is 3 steps over 30 days and there's only 1
so
touch.
these are all default ones, not ones you create.
Exactly, so these are all default ones that you can implement. So again, this is a way for you to not have to come up with, you know, what did my dad always say? You don't have to invent the wheel yourself. So these are wheels that have already been invented. So these are things that, you know, quarterly call plan. You can put this on everybody. So then you remember to touch them every 90 days or so. And you can stagger it too. There's a lot of really awesome things that you can do within the smart plan.
So does it just send you a reminder of the next step, or does it also automate sending out texts?
Yeah, great question. So some of them do automate. So you can actually, it'll just push out an email that says, happy 8th of July. I love 8 and I love 6. I don't know, whatever. 7, whatever numbers it is. So 7, 8, no, whatever. So you can automate those emails. You can automate text. There is a service that they use and you have to pay for those.
Trulio.
Is that what it is? Trulio, something like that. Yeah. Tequila. So,
Yeah, bring it over next time.
so yeah, exactly. So this is when before I was doing the smart plan idea. This is what I had decided I was going to do. So my admin created these smart plans for me. So now I know that every week I should be doing a newsletter, every quarter, that 90 day, and then the semi-annual reminds me to do an event. So if you can create these half and whole birthdays, 4th of July, Turkey Day, Valentine's, and then we've got anniversary pizza. Oops, that's all right. Pizza and champagne, and then apparently beer. So you can create, if you want to really own your own system, you can totally do it, put it together, and then push it out so you don't have to spend time remembering what you have to do. Again, this is all about shifting your time, your 24 hours that you have in a day, away from your business into your personal side, becoming more efficient over here.
Can you share how much like a virtual assistant costs? Like what are the
Great.
for the company, the cyberbacker, like what are their rates starting at?
Yeah,
Are they
so
all
it's-
different between each individual one.
Yeah, so Cyberbacker that has staff over there to help train and do all of that kind of stuff, they're going to run about, I think it was 1,000 to 1,500 ish. Yeah, depending on how many hours you have them work, and that's a month, and that's 40 hours. I think I pay like $12.50 a month, and that's 40 hours a week, just to me.
They're
Devoted to me.
So they get you get the whole month, 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
For $12.50.
Yep. So I pay my assistant starts at 7 a.m. So I'm still at home
Is
getting
that
ready.
any Filipino time or like?
Yeah, Filipino time. She starts our time at 7 a.m.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And then she works until 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday.
70.
So then and then she has Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. Is what I
Do
get.
they expect like spiffs and like?
No,
commissions and stuff like that?
I do bonus mine every time we close,
Yeah.
and then I also give her a lot of days off.
Right.
Like the other day, I called her up and I said, "Look, there's not a lot to do, so just take the day off."
Yeah.
And then next week, I'm gonna tell her to just take.
She still gets paid.
And she still gets paid. I said she can either take it paid or unpaid. It's up to her. So. Yep.
So do you give them benefits and stuff too then, or like?
No, so over there, they deal with all of that. So they're actually an employee of Cyberbacker.
Oh, yeah.
So going back to your question, there are a lot of different options. I know that Jason Gorman has a different company and they pay much less than I do. But I don't know if they have the same services on the backside. But they found some really great people for what they're doing, and it works out for them. That's the thing. Is you can find a really good employee for one wage, and you can find a really good employee for a different wage. It just depends on who it is and so on and so forth. And maybe they found someone who had experience, and that was the difference. I'm also paying for all these other services, which is the training side of it, the hiring side of it, the manager. She's got managers over there that she has to report to every day that I don't have anything to do with. So that are watching over, and they're an interface between the two of us at times. So the next one that I've got, there we go, is graphic design. So one of the things that I got really annoyed with is trying to figure out and cobble together some flyer, some PDF or something in, what is it, Microsoft Paint, I think, or something. Come to my open house. So I found that paying for Canva, going above and beyond on just the basic Canva, is definitely been worth
It's
it.
like $120 a year, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's definitely worth it, especially for some of the open house flyers. Now, if it's not in your budget, that's totally fine. I know that Command has some really great stuff. Listings to Leads has a lot of great stuff. It's going to be generic and it's going to be a snap, done kind of a thing. But if you like Canva and the availability that you have there to be a little more creative, you can save those designs and continue to replicate those within Canva. Building your brand, exactly. I also used Canva to create my business card, all of my open house flyers, a lot of Facebook. The one thing I did like about this is it allowed me to do a lot of Facebook posts. They have the right dimensions and everything for your Facebook cover.
Facebook cover.
Background, cover, yeah, stuff like that. So that was kind of beneficial. Instagram, yeah, good call. I don't use Instagram, but yes.
Did you create this in Canva, this slide, this presentation?
No, so this slide was created with Prezi.
Prezi.
Yep. So my last slide here is pretty much what are you going to implement? There's a lot of different things that we went through here. Some of them you have to purchase, some of them you don't. But what is the, you know, I'll steal the phrase, what is the one thing, right? But what is the one thing that would benefit you the absolute most to get you to the next level? To get you, even if you can save yourself an hour and a half a week, an hour a week, and dedicate that time with your family, dedicate that time to getting that workout in, whatever it is, all you're doing is you're just shifting time from this hand of work to this hand, which is personal. You know, that's all we really want in the end, is just time.
Virtual assistants are like, you said they were first in real estate, or like American real estate, do they know? Or are they just doing what you're telling them to?
Mainly just doing what you tell them to do. Yeah. They're order
like
takers.
real estate backgrounds,
No,
right?
no, not so much.
Do they come with any sort of like marketing skills, like?
Yeah, so the one that I hired had some marketing skills. She used to be a front desk manager and the social media manager for a hotel, like a luxury hotel. And when the pandemic hit, she didn't have a job. So she jumped on, and so now she's been really good. She's handled all of my Facebook stuff. She schedules it out for me. She pulls all the information. She knows how to send all of that stuff. She does a lot of stuff I don't know how to do. I'm a huge believer
So
in
you give her your
delegating.
password then, or do you? Or no,
Great
that's-
question. So one of the other
Yeah.
apps that I use is called LastPass, LASTPASS. LastPass allows you to hold all of your passwords, so you don't spend time looking around for your password, and you don't spend time resetting your password. It keeps it all in a vault. So if I wanted to give you guys all of my password to Keller Williams, I can do that, except that you can't even see my password. It just automatically fills it in. So it gives you an envelope that you can essentially put it in.
So it's a permission.
Yep, it's a permission password, yeah.
How much is that a month again?
I got the family plan, so my wife has it too, so it's a little bit more. I want to say $150
A year, right?
a year, yeah.
Dude, like that's not even bad at all. Especially if you're having a virtual assistant, you like need that as well. So they
And
can
at
access all this
at any
stuff.
time, I can go through and just cancel all of her permissions.
So that, do you say that's like an app, not an app?
Yep, it's an app.
It
Yeah.
is.
You can just go to LastPass.com too.
Last, yes.
PASS.
Yeah.
LastPass, yeah. Yep. So I'll take this time now and answer any other questions that you guys might have. I know you guys have had some so far, but
Thank you very much, Nick, really, this is
Yeah,
very
this is
impressive.
great.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other little things like, I didn't bring it up here, but QuickBooks, I've been starting to use QuickBooks recently. They have a mileage app.
Oh yeah, I got that on my. I think I told
There
you
you go.
about that one.
Yeah. And then the other part of it is the scanner, like the scanning, to be able to scan all of my receipts.
Adobe Scan too is a good one to have for the app.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
Adobe, but Adobe
The
Scan.
scan app,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
because you can take a
It
picture
just turns, yeah, you can
and
turn
then
anything
copy
into a
your
PDF.
documents.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you
Oh.
can email it to wherever, like yourself or a client.
Another one is
Yeah, Adobe Scan.
Okay.
when you're working with a lot of your application, when you're getting an offer in and it's all in, because they scanned everything in plus their kids' artwork into the offer, you can go to ilovepdf.com and that allows you to split into different files and
So that
so
one's
on.
totally free. You can Word
That
it
one,
to
yep.
Split. You can do Microsoft
You
Word.
can convert it.
You can do PDF to Word.
ilovepdf.com.
It's amazing.
So that's a great one.
No, well, thank you, really.
Yeah, no worries. There's just a lot of different things, but I would say if there's anything that I would say is the best productivity hack, which is the thing that I kind of suck at the most, as I keep trying to force myself to do it because I know it's good, is just consistency. If you do all of these things consistently, you'll be good. If you keep jumping from lead generation company, you'll be bad. You won't get it out of it. If you don't keep up with your call recordings, it's not going to have the benefit that it should. If you don't keep up with the CMAs, and you don't keep doing your usual 3, and you try to jump to a different one and another one, it's just.
Should we show them what it sounds like when we call with productive?
You could. They're not going to be able to hear it that well. But.
Put it on like your speaker. What's your settings? Do you have it so it records when I call them?
Maybe.
I think I turned you off. Well, unless we're doing a deal like
I
this,
get it.
there's no point to like record all of that other crap. You know what I mean? Because we're not
It could
talking.
be held against you.
Right.
Well, I don't have it.
I don't know like how much I trust this
I don't
guy.
I don't have it turned off for me, so you can call me.
Okay.
Then put it on the speaker.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're good to go here. So.
That's the problem. Oh, here it is. And how do you know? See this?
So it kind of has this announcement to it too. It says movies free while connected to. It says your
Say
name.
that.
I don't know why it's.
I always wonder.
Okay, sorry. I don't know why this is.
Nope.
Is your speaker on? Oh yes, it's called connected you.
Which is really great, like, he is so.
It says your name. It says like hey Al.
So now it's coming up to my phone. There it is. So it
That
takes.
really is as professional in a time when we all are just, hey, hey, you know,
Yeah.
I try to answer my phone, hi, this is Pam, you know what I mean, but sometimes, yeah.
Any other questions, ideas, thoughts, concerns?
No, but thank you, I think that's the part where you guys choose Keller Williams, though, we do have to do better with that command, when everyone is, not everyone, but we have a lot of agents leaving. I don't think they were taught the value of what we have in our hands. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Right?
Because I'm still looking at command. Like I have my own CRM that I'm buying. I don't even use command.
Right.
Now that we have the transaction coordinator,
Yeah.
I'm never using command.
Right,
You know what I
and look
mean?
how much time that will save you.
I know.
And that is the goal, right? Because Gary Keller gets you, if you're gonna be a single agent, you only have so much time, you know, so he is
Yeah.
really, because it kind of started, Keller felt like it was for a team, but really it is for the individual agent to be able to kick butt and have
Right.
that kind of back stuff.
Yeah. It's